All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Sam from Zroder MMA Bet. Let's go over the bets that I have for UFC Fight 9 to 61, Oliveira versus Gamrot. So I have a bet on Lucas Almeida. I took him at plus 120, 0.7 units. I have a bet on Thomas Peterson at plus 250, 0.4 units. Then I have Irina Alexeyeva, 0.32 units at plus 450. Then my biggest bet of the card is Jafel Filho on the money line at 1.25 units at plus 100. So now for the props that I have Mesquita and Irina go the distance. I have Irina by decision. Then I have Mario Pinto and Jonathan Deniz go the distance, and Kowalkiewicz by decision, 0.2. Okay. So let's go through the breakdowns and the logic behind these things. Let's start with Lucas Almeida and Michael as well. So I had this bet when I took it. It was plus 120. Lucas Almeida now is plus 200. So probably everybody that saw this line moved was wondering why. So Lucas Almeida apparently has a broken hand. It's pretty weird to me, the UFC gonna allow the fight happen with the guy with a broken hand. That looks, again, weird to me. I've seen fights getting canceled for much less than that. Like a guy is not feeling well, has a high temperature, has a flu, whatever, they cancel the fight. So it's interesting that the fight is being kept even if he has such injury. Anyway, this changes a little bit the landscape, or it changes a lot. I had Lucas Almeida just because, I have a short video on that explaining a little more. I mean, this could be a 50-50 fight. Michael as well. He's more like, how can I put it? He's fluctuating a little bit on his style. When he started, he was more like a pressure fighter, was getting inside, brawling. Then he turned to be more like counter puncher. I mean, to me, he's not that yet with his solid style. Lucas Almeida is not the best fighter either. I mean, he's a little bit taller, but he's not the best fighter either. He's a striker. He tends to somewhat fight technically on the outside, but he also makes mistakes. When he gets inside, he exposes himself. He tends to brawl a little bit, even though he's not the toughest guy or the biggest puncher. I mean, again, this could be a 50-50 fight. If Lucas Almeida was in his best shape, I see him as I was favoring him just because he has a little bit more range. He has more experience over Michael as well. And I was thinking that also being in Brazil, the fight, Lucas Almeida would be more motivated, probably training a lot harder, and would be, pumped by the crowd, all of these things. So I had him as a small favorite. I took a bet on him, but now as the landscape has changed, I would stay away from this fight. Another bet I was considering was Lucas Almeida by decision, because Michael as well, he's pretty tough. He's young, as you can see, he's 25. He's never been knocked out. I saw him taking some big shots, and he was, still standing and still doing pretty okay. And Lucas Almeida is not the biggest puncher, so Almeida by decision I like at the line, but given the weird situation with the broken hand and all these things, I mean, if you ask me today, maybe Almeida by decision, I would still bet, but given that I already have that bet, I'm not doing anything else in this fight. Then Irina Alexeyeva and Bia Mesquita. This is pretty easy to break down. Mesquita is primarily a BJJ fighter. She doesn't have barely any stand-up. I think she's trying to improve there. She's under a good camp. She's in the US, in there. I forgot the camp, but anyway. She's in there a good camp. You'd expect that she would, evolve quite quickly in the striking, but she still looks very robotic in there. She doesn't move much. She's very muscular, so she's also feels quite slow on the feet. She gets hit. She doesn't have counters. She doesn't move well on the feet, but on the ground, she's a wizard, right? She very strong from the top, from the bottom, good sweeps, nasty jiu-jitsu. I mean, Irina Alexeyeva, she's a little bit, it's difficult to describe her style. She's pretty good everywhere, to be honest, but she doesn't have the best consistency. She doesn't come with much of a strategy in her fights, for at least from what I've seen. But she's pretty decent on striking. She's has dangerous leg locks. Obviously, this wouldn't be much of a factor here. I don't think she's gonna want to grapple with Mesquita, but it's also not impossible. I see her as she's probably very confident in her skills and will try to win, even to prove a point that if she believes she's a better grappler, she could even try to grapple with Mesquita to try to prove that and end up losing the fight. So anyway, I don't trust much Irina Alexeyeva, but anyway, as you can see, I have a bet on her just because, I mean, Bia Mesquita is very limited on the feet. There is a chance that Alexeyeva comes with a decent game plan on this one, try to keep the fight standing. Mesquita is very strong. She will take her down. she can submit Alexeyeva, but I do trust Alexeyeva's skills if she applies it in the correct way. You know what I mean? Like if she wants to just get Mesquita on a leg locks, try just attacking submissions, she's gonna get her back taken and probably gonna get choked. But anyway, there's a chance that she doesn't, that she fights smart, she keeps it on the feet, or at least she uses her wrestling defensive, grappling defensive, keeps standing. She can win this fight. I mean, she can. And I'm also have a bet on this fight going the distance for the same reason. I mean, if Alexeyeva doesn't make many mistakes and Mesquita still can, muscle hold to the ground, stay on top for most of the time, she will win the decision. And like I said, Alexeyeva by decision, I also have a small prop bet on that. I mean, the logic behind here is pretty much the same. If Alexeyeva will fight smart, she will keep it standing, she will try to knock Mesquita out. I don't think she can knock her out, right? I think it will be more like a grappling, Bia Mesquita will force the grappling, but Alexeyeva can do more damage and then she could score a decision, right? Or even she can take her down at the end of the round. So there is a path to victory, even though I'm not too confident. As you can see, I'm not putting much money on this. But anyway, the lines are favoring Irina Alexeyeva in my opinion, right? Then on Julia Polastri and Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I have a decision bet on Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I mean, this is a pretty simple one to, at least to explain my logic behind here. Polastri, she's solid. I mean, she's very tough. She moves forward. She's aggressive, but she gets hit quite a bit, right? She doesn't have much defense, even though she improved this a little bit over her UFC tenure. She was getting hit very easily, and then she adapted a little. She has developed an okay head movement, some guard. But Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she's much more experienced. She's pretty good everywhere. She's not excellent anywhere, but striking is not bad, right? She moves quite well. When she has the range, she does pretty decently also on the defense part. She tends to go back and sit by the cage, and then she starts getting hit. So this can happen. Polastri can start landing on her. But I think that Kowalkiewicz at least she's gonna try to hit and not get hit, clinch with Polastri at times. So it could be those weird fights that you cannot actually tell who's winning, or at least not that clear, right? Now, the fight is in Brazil. Polastri is local, so she will be pumped by the crowd. She's probably moving forward all the time. So there is this factor too, but let's see. I mean, I think the value is on Kowalkiewicz. I don't think Kowalkiewicz finish her at all, right? It's very, very slim chance of that happening. Polastri could finish Kowalkiewicz, but maybe around 3 knockout or something like this if she accumulates damage on her, but also I don't see much likely. So if you're on Polastri by decision, you're on the safer side, but I don't think there's much value there. As I told you, I think this could come down to being fairly close just because Polastri can be hit, and it could be those fights that one fighter is moving forward, but the other one is hitting more. You cannot actually tell who's the one winning, and then they could just give, even a split decision to Kowalkiewicz. So this is the logic behind, and line at plus 500, I have a small bet on Kowalkiewicz. Then on Victor Petrino and Thomas Peterson, I mean, this one, and Petrino, he came from light heavyweight in the previous fight, right? So he fought already once in heavyweight. He's athletic, he's powerful, but I'm still need to see more on him as a heavyweight to trust him too much. You know what I mean? From what I've seen, he's good in the first round, even as a light heavyweight, but then he tends to slow down, right? In his heavyweight fight, he took the guy down and just basically finished the fight, right? I mean, Thomas Peterson, I'm not sure whether he will be able to perform at his best in Rio, right? Because, everybody's rooting for Petrino and they are booing and, going after Thomas Peterson, everything that Petrino will do, they will root for it. And Peterson, he'll be, just buoyed, like I said. I mean, but if Thomas Peterson can keep his cool, if he can do what he does, which is he's decent when he moves forward, put pressure on guys. He's still quite tough, right? He can get hit, he can get dropped, but he has quite a decent defense, at least for a heavyweight. And like I said, he's still quite tough. He's also a very good wrestler, at least for a heavyweight again. So, I mean, Petrino probably wins the first round, right? Because of the explosion, the power, right? He's going to be pumped. But if Peterson survives, he's probably taking over the fight if he can keep his rhythm, if he can keep his cool and do what he does, right? So, I mean, the finish the finish chance is a little bit bigger on Petrino, even though Peterson also can finish Petrino, especially more towards the round number 3, the second half of the second round. So there is a path to victory for Thomas Peterson. I do see this very close to 50-50. Actually, I'm really, let me just take a look on my odds here. Yeah, so Petrino and Thomas Peterson, yeah, I have Petrino 60% and Peterson 40%. So it's a little bit tricky, and these odds to me, I'm already added the local factor for Petrino. So the value is on Peterson, right? So let's see what happens here. I think, again, if Peterson keeps his head cool and does what he does, doesn't get finished in the first, he can win this fight. Let's see how it goes. And then my last bet is on fight go the distance between these two guys, Jonathan Diniz and Mario Pinto. I mean, Diniz, he's a striker, you know, he's accomplished, right? He's an accomplished kickboxer. Mario Pinto, I mean, he's a little bit taller, a little bit longer. He has good technique on the standing too. I mean, from terms of technique, I actually think that Pinto is a little bit better, even though Diniz has the credentials and everything. Diniz, he's more aggressive. It's difficult to say who's tougher. I know that Diniz is very tough. Mario Pinto is difficult to know how tough he is because he's very difficult to hit this guy. So, in my opinion, gonna be a fight where Jonathan Diniz will try to move forward. I think Mario Pinto will counter much more in this fight. He's a little bit taller, he's faster, right? Mario Pinto is faster. And but it's gonna be those fights that, again, is one guy moving forward, the other guy maybe picking his shots and landing a little more on the outside. To me, this one will be difficult to tell who's winning. They both have a chance for a knockout. Jonathan Diniz hits fairly hard. I haven't seen Pinto getting hit too much, so it's difficult to tell how tough he is, even though he's young, and I do think he's quite tough. So let's see. I think even if he gets hit, he survives. And Jonathan Diniz is tough, you know, and Pinto, he hits fairly hard, but not too much. He knocks guys out just, you know, when he can accumulate damage, do more, you know, do more volume, and, you know, get hit in the right spot. So I mean, again, it can happen a knockout, but I do think that this goes a distance, and it's difficult to pick a side. I'm picking Mario Pinto if you ask me who wins this fight, but given the fact that the fight is in Brazil, you know, gonna be a close fight, it could go either way if it goes the decision. So that's why my bet here is fight go the distance. But yeah, Mario Pinto by decision was plus 350, I think, which is fairly good too. But anyway, I will stick just with fight go the distance for this one. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you like it, feel free to like the video, you know, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and I'll see you next time. This is Sam from Zolder MMA Bet.